Good morning. Happy Monday. I hope everyone had a good night's sleep. That's one of the biggest things that I learned in the hospital is the importance of a good night's sleep. They talk to you, the goal is 8 hours, the minimum is 5 hours, and if you've had an extensive or excessively stressful day, you can get more sleep. And I guess the older you get, the less sleep you need. So definitely a lot of things you can learn in the hospital. So for anyone who thinks they might need some help, maybe that's not the worst thing. So today's topic, what I want to talk about is divorce. But before I talk about divorce, I want to talk about marriage. Because through my research, and when I say research, I really just mean me being alive and paying attention to things around me, right? So I am an amateur scientist with no certifications whatsoever. I just think I'm right. So through my research, what I've found, I think it's more common and more likely that women fantasize about this marriage, which I think makes more sense. And again, not trying to be sexist here, not trying to get anyone upset, but at least from personal experience, we'll say that, right? From personal experience, I never once fantasized about a wedding, but I know my wife did and has. And I've also heard other women do that, right? So I think it's a thing. That's fine. But also, let's take engagement, right? Let's take the diamond ring. So I watch a lot of documentaries. I think there was one on Netflix called Explained, and it talked about diamonds in general. And one, they're not the rarest stone on the planet, which that make you think, right? Because diamonds are a girl's best friend. Diamonds are forever. But apparently diamonds only became a thing because I forget the name of the De Beers. No, I don't know. I forget the name of the company, but whoever was selling the diamonds needed to sell more diamonds, right? So they came out with the ad campaign, Diamonds Are Forever. I don't think it's a man's best friend. That's a dog. So a woman's best friend. I don't know. But my point is, and again, I'm not saying poo-poo to love. I think love is the answer. I think love is everything. But when did we become a society that bought love? When did that start? Like, when did we just stop loving to love, and now you put a price tag on love, right? And everything's a competition, got to keep up with the Joneses, right? So if you're head over heels in love with your significant other, they get you a ring, they get down on one knee, you say yes, everything's fantastic, and then your friend has a bigger ring. Then it starts, right? And it's just like, and again, this is all from personal experience. So if you guys can handle this stuff better than me, please let me know how you do it. But like, I am so competitive that it's unhealthy. Like, unhealthy. I always want to win. But when I have to, I'm able to put the team first. I mean, I ran a business for 3 years, that within 2 years, we doubled the store's sales. We had a very solid team together. And I'm a big believer on environment, right? It's kind of like you think of growing a plant. What matters is the soil and how you care for and maintain that soil, right? So the soil, whatever soil you get, I don't know the best soil these days, but get good soil, right? Water, sunlight, time, attention, care, and eventually the plant will grow, right? But I think the scary thing is we live in a world of instant gratification, right? So all right, you go into it, you say, I want to have the best plant in the world. And the plant guy tells you, all right, well, we can definitely do that, but just know it takes 6 months before this thing even spurts through the soil. Oh, I don't have 6 months. Right? You're just going to go buy a plant that someone already spent the time to grow it, nurture it, yada, 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 but then you have it. And do you really appreciate what that plant has to offer? It's kind of like in the Karate Kid with the bonsai tree, right? Well, the lesson to be learned from maintaining a bonsai tree is responsibility. Right? And I'll say firsthand, I am a very irresponsible person. My first dive into responsibility and learning that I am not responsible, I was in 5th grade. I forget what sparked it, but I had decided that I needed a dog. And the only thing missing from my life was a dog. And if I had a dog, I would be happy. It was like an arts and crafts project or something like that. I created a book for my mom to look through and guilted her, made her cry, I'm pretty sure, guilted her to get me a dog. We got a dog. We rescued it from the pound, so we did the right thing. His name was Oreo. He was only $5, so it was a good financial decision. But we adopted the dog, got the dog, having a blast until the first time the dog pooped outside. And my mom said, you got to go pick that up. I don't want to pick that up. You're the one who wanted a dog. Yeah, I wanted a dog. Well, you got to pick up its poop. I didn't plan for that. I just wanted a dog. And I don't even remember why I wanted a dog, right? But it's like, it's hard to think things through. It's hard to know what's going to happen when you don't know what's going to happen. So how do you make good decisions, right? Commitment is tough. Responsibility is tough. But I almost, again, through my research, I have a lot of theories about things, and none of this feels right, for me anyway. As a kid, I never once dreamt about marriage. I never fantasized about children. I never wanted a house. I just kind of went with the flow, right? The only thing I thought about kids was if and when I ever have kids, I'd always want to have a son first, so he would protect the rest. And I have 2 kids now, 2 dogs, a house, a wife. But it doesn't feel right. It doesn't. And I think it's Ricky Gervais. He and his partner have been together 30 something years, over 30 years, something crazy like that. Never got married, never plan on getting married because neither one of them needs it. Right? They know they love each other. Why? Why? Why do you have to put on this whole show? If you love someone, they know it. What more do you need? Right? The first time I remember experiencing unconditional love was from my son. He was going up to bed one night and he said, Mommy, wait. I want to give Daddy a hug and kiss. All on his own. And he came down the stairs, he came up to me, and he gave me a hug and a kiss. What more do you need? But then you grow up And the world tells you only to love people if. Conditional love, right? Only love them if they do this for you. Only love them if they buy you a ring. Only love them if they buy you a house. Only love them if, only love them if, only love them if. And I think that's the world we live in, right? I don't know, but why? Do you want to live in a world like that? Like I said, I have a lot of theories. I've done a lot of research. I'm an amateur, so I'm still working at it. But my theory on parents is that parents suck. Parents suck. But they do the best they can. Right? And really, that's all anyone can do. All anyone can do is the best they can do. But, and this is where, so that's all sappy, that's all great, right? Everyone, kumbaya, do the best you can, everything's fantastic, right? But again, this is the world we live in. This is reality, right? Some people's best is better than others, right? So in sports, right? Sports, the finite game, the game you can win, right? There is a winner and there's a loser. Yes, they're all participants, right? But you don't get an award for being a participant, right? You get, in the beginning, you get checked off a list for being there, right? That's called attendance. Well, I'm not religious, probably isn't the right word, but let's use religion. Let's use church, right? I'm pretty sure I did go to Catholic school my whole life, so I have some understanding of Catholicism and religion and that guy Jesus and all that stuff. So I'm pretty sure that God wants you to do a little bit more than just show up, right? Yes, show up, but participate. Do your best. But also know your best might not be good enough. Someone else might get ahead of you because their best is better than yours. That's fine. But I don't think so. David Goggins. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys know anything about David Goggins, look into it. There's a Joe Rogan podcast with David Goggins. It's about 3 hours long, but the story he tells, he's written books. He has his own, he's got millions of followers. Great guy. Listen to a lot of his talks. Also looking at Andrew Huberman, who's doing, I think it's Stanford, where he's doing research at his sleep lab and he's testing mice and doing all this stuff. So the science is there. You just have to work a little bit harder to find the right information. It's probably not on Channel 10, probably not on CBS, but it's out there. So you do your research and maybe you can find it, right? But David Goggins has really shattered the old way of thinking, right? Where something's just not possible. And then David Goggins comes in and says, whoa, wait a minute. Right? And that so I guess what I'm getting at is, so if you, let's say it's a race, right? You train for the race, you do the best you can that day during that race, and you lose. You come in second, admirable, but not first, right? And if you're not first, you're last. So do you give up? Do you never race again? Or do you research the person who beat you? Do you go back to the drawing board and do you try to figure out how to make your best better? Right? Because we have time. We have time. So they always said, so you put money on things, right? You buy things. You spend way too much money. You buy a ring, buy the wedding, buy this, buy that, blah, 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 blah. All you have is debt, right? We all know, myself personally, I have nothing but debt, nothing to show for it. Have been relatively successful income-wise, but spending habits, nope, haven't figured those out yet. So why isn't there a bigger value set on time? Right? I know, so Gary Vaynerchuk, another great speaker, learned a lot from him. Attention is the new commodity, right? Attention. And attention, boiled down, is time. So they say there's some documentary on Netflix, something about the world ending because of technology and all that. But it said something that if you don't pay for the app or you don't pay for whatever it is on your phone, you are the product, right? And again, you can disagree with this stuff all you want. That's fine. But it's just so Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all these things, right? They're things. They're apps, whether you understand what it is or not, but they're things that were created by a human being, right? And it's coding, ones and zeros, words put together. And as long as someone understands what the hell it is and can decode that chain of speech, right? That's called an algorithm. And the algorithm, it's just so you write an algorithm, then you hit enter. And then it does what you told it to do, right? So when you feed the algorithm, when you feed Facebook, when you feed Instagram, when you feed all these things, and by feed, I mean give it information, right? And that's as simple as talking. They listen. Yes, they listen to everything. They're waiting to hear, hey Siri, right? Hey Alexa, whatever the other Echo Dot, whatever the other things are, right? They're listening for that, right? I think I've never understood, right? So they're saying they just sit around waiting for that trigger, right? But how do you hear something if you're not already listening? And then maybe do a little bit of research into the Patriot Act from 9/11, 2001, right? Horrible day. But there were laws that were passed that made listening to everything legal. And that's fine. It is, like, if you don't have anything to hide, what's the problem, right? But a lot of people, for some, it's a control thing. It's definitely a control thing, right? And it's my information. I want it. Okay, have at it, right? It's yours. It's just like in America, if you start talking about taking people's guns, like people just lose their mind. You don't take my guns. I got my Second Amendment. Alrighty then. But if we lived in a world, and again, whatever. If we lived in a world that didn't need guns, right? If you had no one to shoot, what do you need a gun for? Why do you need a gun if there's no one to shoot? I don't, it's a macho thing. It's a macho male thing. Definitely is, because I've gone to the gun range once in my life. I've shot the little clay disc thing. Wasn't very good at it, so maybe that's why, it didn't stick with me. But, yeah, men just like to shoot things, blow things up. Yeah, it's fun, right? But then I guess women are over there fantasizing about marriage and weddings. All right. I'm getting sidetracked here. So, divorce. That's very tough for me because through my therapy, I have learned that the single most traumatic event in my childhood was my parents divorcing when I was 6. It is what it is, right?